All right, everyone. Welcome to A Round for the Weekend. This is powered by Belly Up Sports, and I am your host, your humble host, Ryan McCarthy. Just want to remind you, first of all, that we are on a various amount of social media accounts. We got facebook.com/Belly Up Sports AFTW, Twitter and Instagram, Belly Up AFTW, and YouTube. Just do a search for A Round for the Weekend, and we're there. So it's all scrolling at the bottom right here. See, look at that. It's like a Wall Street ticker. So what I'm going to do first is, first I want to share this video. I had the pleasure of this week of speaking with Rod Peterson on my No Credentials Required podcast, and he did a really cool thing yesterday on his show. I'm going to play that clip from I posted on the Twitter. We had posted on our Twitter account for Belly Up Sports, so I'm going to share that clip with you right now.
What I'm doing tonight. Yeah, and I'll say one more. I want to thank this sports network in the United States, Belly Up Sports. Follow them on Twitter, Belly Up Sports. It's really big. It's like the new bar stool. And a couple of weeks ago when I got introduced to these Slapshot Sweethearts, Megan and Shannon, remember? They just stumbled across our show watching cable TV in Washington, D.C. and said, let's have this crazy guy from Canada on. It's opened up this huge world for us. And last night I was on the air in Albany, New York. They're getting a new NLL team. I said, you can be our Albany NLL correspondent. Here's the thing. These guys and gals are rabid. They retweet everybody's stuff. They like everybody's stuff. Here in Canada, I'm trying to build relationships with other media groups in Canada. No, we're fine. No, we're fine. The walls are all up in Canada. But we're growing rapidly. If you want to know why our viewership, a third of our viewership is in the States, here's why. You know what I found out? They love the hockey coverage, they love the CFL coverage, and they love the NLL coverage.
Wow.
They don't get that there.
They don't get it, right?
Right. So we're proud. We're not officially part of Belly Up. We're kind of the shirt-tail cousin of Belly Up, but weaseling our way in. And thank you for having us. Belly Up Sports. Follow them on Twitter and Instagram. We are going to go to...
And that is super cool. So I want to give a shout out to our new friend, our shirt-tail cousin, as he would say, Rod Peterson. Rod, if you're watching up in Regina, Saskatchewan, thank you for giving us a shout out yesterday. We really do appreciate it. And we got some big things coming on the road at Belly Up Sports. So if you want to join us, come on board. Just go to at Belly Up Sports on Twitter. We're on Instagram. Join us. We'd love to have you. Speaking of joining me, I'm going to bring in my guest. My guest, he was on the program a few weeks ago. He was formerly of 104.5 The Team in Albany, New York, but now he's doing his own thing. He's independent. He's got his own podcast called Getting There with Goz. It's really awesome. It's a great listen. You should go listen. You should go listen to that too. So let me bring in my guest, Tom Goslowski. Gozzy Bear, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me back again. I appreciate it.
And I see you got a better microphone this time. You don't have the headset anymore.
I got the microphone. I think my camera's a little clearer now. I've upgraded. Getting there with Goz, pun intended, is getting there, man. We're slowly but steadily.
Super, super, super cool, man. I'm happy for you, man. You're doing a great job with the podcast, and you know you're doing me a service by coming on here on Round for the Weekend. This is a fun. You know, I always had whenever at the station or wherever I ran into you when you're doing a remote. We always had fun.
Yeah, man, we're still having fun now. Even though we're doing something a little bit different, we're continuing to have the fun vibes into the weekend.
Absolutely, absolutely. So right before we get into our topics tonight, I just want to first ask you guys, what you drinking?
I'm going back to what I had the first time with you. I feel like it's our new tradition, a little Yankees Distillers.
Nice.
A little whiskey. I'd say on the rocks, but our ice isn't working in my house right now. So just a little soft, slow sipping of little Yankees Distillers. Again, a little whiskey. Shout out to those guys.
Very nice. I'm going to drink myself some from Rochester, New York. My brother got me some Rochester, New York beers from his favorite brewery out there, Rohrbach Brewing Company. I have Space Kitty Citra Double IPA. I've never had this before. It's my first time trying it. So it's Space Kitty. It's a double IPA. So let me go open this. All right. Ooh, little spelling check. That's the sound of the weekend, my friend. We got my Mr. Mason jar here. All right. Gonna pour ourselves a drink. Ooh, a little head there. Cheers, friend. Cheers to the weekend. Cheers. Ooh, that's nice and crisp. Take it.
You can drink a lot more than I can with the different mix we got going on, so I'm not chugging my whiskey, or else it'll be a weirder interview tonight.
No, it'll be we might be arrested if we drink too much whiskey. All right, so we're gonna talk some Albany, New York sports talk. As you know, most of you may know, located in the Albany, New York-ish area. I'm up near Saratoga. Goz is living elsewhere in the area. Let's do some Albany sports talk. We've had some big things happening over the course of the past, probably about a couple months or so. Would you say?
Yes.
Yep. With the first the Valley Cats affiliation got dropped by the Astros. That was no fun. But they joined an independent league, so they're going to be playing in the Frontier League this year. Then the Albany Empire come back. They're going to be playing the NAL this year. And then recently, this week, we had the NLL announce that, National Lacrosse League announced that they're coming back to the area. And also this week you got UAlbany Lacrosse starting. UAlbany football is coming back. They're going to play the spring season in the FCS, guys. It's happy days here in Albany.
Yeah, it's an interesting time in the history of the Capital Region sports scene, because as much as these things are returning or changing, we don't really know, right? Aren't we still in a spot of uncertainty? And I don't mean that as a diss or disrespect to these leagues, but we don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
But the Valley Cats, as you mentioned, are going to a different league. Mm-hmm. I've grown up in markets and covered markets where the Major League Baseball affiliate does mean a lot. But if you're just selling a product of baseball in a region, if you're a younger fan or just want to go out to the ball game for a Friday or Saturday night, that might not matter.
Right.
We're dealing with as you mentioned, a new variation of the Albany Empire. So what's going to matter? Is it just going to be arena football and people will be happy to go out? Will the on-field production and the on-field promotions, how much will that play a factor in getting the audience there? Mm-hmm. And you mentioned the NLL. Look, Albany lacrosse is extremely popular. Mm-hmm. The college program has been to the Final Four. But you can have a very excited town for a college sport, but not be excited about a professional sport. It's not as simple as saying, well, it's a sport, so people will come out. Sometimes that difference between the college level and the professional level plays a difference for the fan base. So there's a lot going on. But since I've been here, I don't know what's going to happen. And I feel like I should give a better answer out of the gates. But there's a lot of uncertainty still left with a lot of the sports going on here in the Capital Region.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you at all. I don't blame you for having that kind of air of uncertainty, especially with the pandemic still going on. Thankfully numbers are going down in terms of infections and whatnot. I mean, there's been a 77% dip in infection rates over the past about month or so. And the cool thing, and actually the nice thing about, I guess the good thing about having fans in the stands is that you don't see many major outbreaks after major events. Have you heard anything about the Super Bowl a month after they played? No outbreaks? No.
And, you can even go back further than that. Remember that game when Notre Dame played Clemson and the Notre Dame fans ran on the field? They're like, oh, no, it's a COVID out. Nothing.
No, nothing at all. No. So I'm excited about being back in the stands. I'm excited about being a part of a sports website that I'll hopefully be able to cover most of these leagues. Whether it be, and I got an invitation to join Rod Peterson's team for covering the Albany LLL for his show, so that'll be pretty exciting.
Nice.
Yeah, right. So I'm excited for the area, but the one concern I have right now is the Albany Empire, and the reason why I say that, I get the news feed from the National Arena League about all these other teams like Columbus and Carolina, Jersey, all these teams. I've seen nothing from the Albany Empire since I think December, since he last tweeted, "Hey, we're coming back." It's like, great. What are you doing? Is that? And I know they announced recently they're going to go to an 8-game schedule this year because of the pandemic, and the season's going to be pushed up to May, instead of April. So, is that concerning to you that the Albany Empire have kind of been radio silent since they announced they were coming back?
I think the tough part about this is I see what you're saying. Like when it comes to press releases and social media, maybe their presence isn't as strong as it was for the first variation of the team in the AFL. I wish I had a better understanding of the staff. Like I went to the website the other day, Ryan. I'm like, okay, let's see who the director of media relations is. Couldn't find it. Hey, let's find out who the communications can find it. Hey, let's look. I know I'm very old school in saying, okay, I just want a staff directory, which is very college and professional level teams. You can find a contact. I couldn't even find a contact. So I don't know if they've waited to officially announce members of their staff. Is it a COVID situation where they're looking for money? You mentioned the schedule changed. Are they just going to wait until March to? And there's a lot of questions. Now, just because we don't have the answers doesn't mean that the answers aren't there. Maybe they're just like, we don't have to put this stuff public. Why? Look, we're in the same boat as a lot of other teams. We don't have a lot of answers to the questions because of COVID-19.
Right.
So they could have a staff and everything else set and ready to go. I know from my end, I haven't become familiar with those people yet. I don't know who they are. I really don't. I'm sure they do a nice job, but I'm with you. I don't know what's happening over there.
Well, I know their ownership is down in Orlando, so they own the Predators and they own the Empire. So it's a weird dynamic. I mean, it's not like the Arena League where everything was centralized. You had basically 3 owners or 2 owners for the entire league, and 2 of the owners will own. One of the owners owned 3 teams. The other owner owned 3 teams, or 1 or 3 owners was. It was just weird. It was a centralized dynamic where everything was central. That's part of the reason why they went out of business, other than the whole insurance thing from 2010 that came upon them and bankrupted the league. But it is concerning. I mean, I find it concerning that they've been radio silent on social media, and it's not a criticism of the Empire itself or the owners or whatnot. But it's just where are they? Where are they? Why aren't they out in the community? I know with the COVID situation, it's a little weird, but we had all this hype with the Empire coming back, the team names coming back, all the team name, the colors, the logo, everything's coming back. But where are you? Where are you? Where's your press release? Are we getting press releases? Do we know about who's playing? It's just really strange.
I don't get it. But again, just to cover their butts, there's a chance they hit the ground running tomorrow or 2 weeks from now or April. All of a sudden we're like, all right, like we got you. Okay, here's everything. I feel like the Philadelphia 76ers, it's a process. Yeah. They're going through the same thing like everybody else is, and they're going to try to find their ways. I wouldn't be discouraged if I was a fan of arena football. I know why. Like, you want to have the hype video. You want to find out more about the teams. They could be doing more. But I'm unaware of the budget that they have. And when I say budget, that's not in particular to the NAL or anything. Like, budgets in sports have all changed. Like, to Major League Baseball, like, everybody's budget has changed. So, again, not a shot to them. We could find out. I'm like you, though. I'm a fan of the product, what I saw in previous renditions. I just want to find out what I'm going to be a fan of again really soon.
Exactly. And I've seen a lot of the guys who were with the team back in 2019. They're signing with other teams in the league, or they're signing with other leagues. Whether it be Malachi Jones going back to Canada. I know Travis Homer, not Travis Homer, his brother Tevin Homer. He signed with Jersey.
He did.
So a lot of the guys who play, and Jacoby Smith, I think he also signed with New Jersey as well. So a lot of the guys from the Albany team who didn't get a chance to play in 2020 with another league because of the COVID, because of the pandemic, they're signing with other teams in the league. And we're hoping to see some of those names come back home. Unfortunately, it doesn't look the case. But you're also not seeing. I mean, you might see on the website some transactions here and there, but I think for the Albany Empire to get things going, they need a big name to come out and just and say, hey, I'm going to come back to Albany. I'll play for a couple of dollars here and there, and join the team and say, hey, we want to be in the community. We care. I know that the face of the franchise right now is Rob Keefe. He's the coach of the team, and he's doing his part in trying to get things going here. But I just find it weird that they just nowhere to be found. And all these other teams are just saying, hey,
Ryan, I will do it. I will unretire. Stop begging me. I will unretire. I have not played football. I played for the Hobart Statesmen. Last time was in the fall of 2010. An injury took me out, tore up the labrum like Breeze, but I couldn't come back. Fine. I will be the big name and unretire and play for the Empire. Stop leaving it over the plate. Coach Keefe, call me. If you needed a utility lineman, offense or defense, I'm calling myself a utility lineman so the sabermetric fans can get out there. Utility lineman, We can talk contract. I will unretire and play for the Empire, Ryan. Stop begging me to say it. Fine.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Take that, Belly Up Sports. There's a scoop.
I'll unretire and become a ball boy or a line guy.
All right.
So we're gonna get away from the negative because
wait, that's a negative? I thought that was a positive. I thought
let me finish. Okay. Let me finish because we seem to get a lot because as a smaller market, you kind of know the small market mentality. It's this Napoleon type complex where a team is here one day and they're out the door the next, and that's true for Albany. Albany has been, I wouldn't say the elephant's graveyard of leagues and teams who have been here and they ship up and leave, but a lot of fans seem to kind of, I mean, sports fans, especially in the area, kind of get a little bit wary when a sports team comes to town, and the first thing they think of, oh, in a couple of years they're going to leave. I mean, that bothers me. That bothers me.
Honestly, I don't get it. And I'm talking about just the capital region Albany thing. I grew up in Syracuse. I worked in Geneva. I've worked in Rochester. I've worked in I've worked in different cities across New York. Mm-hmm. This Albany small town, small market thing makes zero sense to me. I don't know how it started. I don't know if it's just the proximity to Boston and New York. So
Boston, it's the proximity to Boston, New York, Buffalo, Montreal, Philly. Can't remember who else. It's in the middle of 4 or 5 major markets.
Yeah, but if you look at it like this, okay. If you were to pull up on Google right now, if you're watching us right now, if you were to pull up on Google market sizes or market mediums or whatever you want to search for that term as, okay, usually about 210 markets get listed on that sheet every year. Albany sits everywhere between 55 and 65. So if I told you there's a list of 200 and you're not in the bottom 150 or bottom 100 or bottom 100, wait a second. We're a top 65 market, and we keep calling ourselves a small market. There's 135 other markets that should be considered a small market. Like that, and that blows my mind in Albany. So like, okay, do people in Albany have that same type of mindset that people in, you mentioned Buffalo. Buffalo's what, 10 markets bigger, 5 markets bigger? I feel like these conversations in Albany are not unique to Albany. Like if you work in Milwaukee, okay, Milwaukee's not a big market. They're going to lose Giannis Antetokounmpo. Okay, what are they, like top 20? I work in Denver. It's an 18 market. He's going to leave. You know, like this Albany thing is not unique, but Albany, craps on themselves or, I wasn't swearing on the podcast. I don't know if I can or not, but like,
go ahead.
In comparison to other markets, they're not that small.
No. I'm actually looking at the numbers right now for 2019. Buffalo is 52nd in the Nielsen ratings for markets with 586,930 homes. Albany is 59th. We're only 7 spots below Buffalo.
And right, does that list, I'm not sure if it's the same list I looked at. It's the same. It says Albany's connected to Detroit. So the Tri-City is actually connected. Detroit, not Saratoga, not Glens Falls, which actually would make it higher.
Yeah. It's Albany's connected to Detroit.
Yeah, interesting why Albany always does that to themselves.
I guess it's the inferiority complex, man. I grew up in this area. I moved to this area in 1985. I've been here ever since, but it just seems like I'm sorry. I'm taking a dump on Albany sports fans, but it just seems like it's the way. It's like we get a sports team, we support them for a while, and then they either leave or they get bad. They turn bad, and we don't go to the games anymore because even though we're a kind of smaller market, we're number 59 in the country. Even though we're considered a smaller market, we have a lot of competition around here. There's a lot of competition for attention, too, between not only pro teams, but also college programs. You've got UAlbany, who's an up-and-coming FBS for football, lacrosse. Their team's been in the Final Four once, and they've been in the top 10 for a good decade. Basketball, too. Siena basketball. Who else? Like RPI, Union Hockey. Union was national champion. Union Hockey was a national champion in 2014. There's a lot of competition out there. And I think the pro teams that come to town, whether it be the Empire or the NLL or the Valley Cats, they got to compete for your attention. Now, I know with the Valley Cats, it's not that hard because you're the only thing really going in the summer. But the Empire, and especially for the NLL team that's coming to town, they're going to have to really compete because you're running into college basketball season, you're running into college hockey season too.
Well, it goes to something deeper than that too, and I think it's a famous sports movie, right? If you build it, they will come. Mm-hmm. That's not how it works in sports. I know people so desperately want to believe that hey, if we launch a sports team and we build a Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, people are going to follow us and come to our games. I'm telling you, it is so difficult. And there are programs, again, not unique to Albany, but there are programs that win and don't get fans. The Tampa Bay Rays don't draw.
No, the only time they draw is when the Yankees or the Red Sox come to town because all the retirees from that region are down there.
Right. I used to feel so bad, and not just Rays season ticket holders, but other season ticket holders. I have a lot of buddies who worked in season ticket holding jobs and account executives and things like that. And they'd say, well, why don't you guys sell tickets? Why don't you promote this? And they're like, what do you think we do all day? Like, what do you think an account executive who sells tickets in sports does all day? Do you think they just stare at the ceiling like, it sucks, fans aren't coming? They try so hard. Now, to the Albany thing, this seems like the best answer I could always come up with. Is it about tradition? And I mean that in the sense of, hey, my mom or dad or my uncle or my grandpa used to go to these games. So when I'm younger, they're going to take me to that game. And when I grow up, I'm going to take my kids and my sons and my family to that game. Mm-hmm. But what Albany didn't have this tradition because Albany football was not a FCS program for a long time.
No.
Albany basketball wasn't Division I. Mm-hmm. The hockey situation, I don't know it as well, but I'm sure they've been in different spots. But you mentioned there's 2 local programs that have had success, so that's tough. And the Albany Devils have been around, the River Rats.
Yep, Albany and the Adirondack Red Wings, the Adirondack Thunder, ECHL. They're not playing this year, but they still have following up in Glens Falls. And
I think what unfortunately happens is that, like, let's say, for instance, you're a Capital Region resident and you would travel to Yankee Stadium or Fenway Park or MetLife. That felt far different than what was happening locally, so it felt like a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's no shot to the programs, but it's like, okay, this is a different level of what I'm doing. The region never had that tradition. And it's so unbelievably hard, and it needs to be repeated again, to all of a sudden just drop a franchise and then say, we're here, where are our fans? Like, there's a reason you become a fan. Is it because they win? You like the players, you like the jerseys, you like the time, the games. You just don't sit down and say, let's use music, right? I'm a fan of this musician. Never heard a song they've played, but I love them. Like, we would laugh, right? We'd be like, that makes zero sense. But that's what sports is when they start here.
Yeah.
Hey, you've never seen us play. You don't know our players. You've never been to a game, but you better be a fan because we're here. Like, that's not a realistic way to look at those things.
Right. Right. And I think the success with the Empire not having arena football for so long, and for them to come to the area, spend a couple of years here, awesome. You win a title in your home stadium, and for the league to go up and just go was sad, and it broke a lot of people's hearts. I mean, myself and you, I'm pretty sure you were pretty crestfallen when the announcement came out that the league was being canceled. I was pretty bummed too because I loved going to the games. I started getting into photography. I still have that gift, by the way, of you holding up that paper at Readable 32.
Did you see Spectrum News here locally use that shot the other day in one of their reports?
They did?
Yeah, they did.
Wow.
They didn't cite you. I'll do it now. Ryan McCarthy's photo. How dare Spectrum News not cite him?
Right? Come on, man.
Although I did tell him it was. Sorry, Ryan. I did tell him it was my photo, and don't worry about citing him. But that's just for this podcast. That's my confession now.
That's okay. That's okay. Hey, maybe Spectrum's watching right now. And they're saying, "Hey, what about Ryan and Goz? That'd be a great show." I do have an in at Spectrum though. I'll pitch that to him. But
okay.
But yeah, I mean, I think part of the problem with our area is it's just. I don't know. It's just there's so much competition because we're so into college and high school sports. We kind of forget that our professional teams need that attention too, and they kind of get lost in the shuffle, especially when a particular program or a particular high school team does well. Like Jimmy, you remember Lake George High School, big deal with JG3, back a couple of years ago, and now he's playing at Syracuse and.
Yeah, look, when he was playing for Glens Falls, it was unbelievable what he was doing out there and everything else. But I want to go real quick, and I know it's your show, and I'm already taking over as a sports radio.
No, you're my guest. You're in my home. You can take over as much as you want.
The Valley Cat one is the one that makes zero sense to me.
Okay.
Because I used to cover minor league baseball. I worked for the Syracuse Chiefs. I've been to Rochester Red Wing games. I used to have an affiliation with the Geneva Red Wings back in the Finger Lakes. So I've seen Buffalo. Their stadium's kind of in a weird setting in Buffalo, but it's kind of cool if you can make your way to it because that's where the Blue Jays played last season.
And they'll probably play this season too.
Right. And it's not as if those places are packed.
Right.
And Albany can't draw. The Valley Cats for the New York Penn League drew. And if you compare them to other markets, they drew. So it's like, hang on a second. Fans went to the game. Joe Bruno Stadium put on a great product, but they couldn't get elevated. I said, when I first moved out here from central New York, I said, why does Albany not get bumped up? It's a huge baseball market. People love the Yankees, the Mets, and the Red Sox. People come out to the games. And there are markets that are far smaller than Albany who draw less, or even markets bigger than Albany that draw less. But they're not getting bumped up. Was it stadium size? Was it location? Was it there wasn't somebody getting in the ear? Because go through the history of some of these franchises, whether it's the Orlando Magic or teams in Vegas, there was always someone saying, let me be the guy. Yep. I'll take the reins. I'll promote the city. I'll be the guy. Maybe the Capital Region needs a guy or a girl who doesn't matter. Somebody says, we're the reason we're staying here. You just need somebody to be the talker almost for the town.
Right.
George Manius is kind of turning into that, by the way. But then, if for George Manius, by the way, that's the guy who ran the Empire, who's now running the Albany Lacrosse. He's one of the bigger names of the talker now, but he's brought some things too here.
Yeah, I'd love to bring him on either this program or my other podcast, No Credentials Required. Just talk his ear off for a good hour and just get to know his mindset, how much success he's had with. He was with the Penguins, the Pittsburgh Penguins. He brought all the knowledge he got from the Penguins up to Albany. Create a great atmosphere for Albany Empire, and hoping to do the same thing with Albany NLL. I mean, now especially with the increased interest and population of kids too, high schools who have well-known lacrosse programs. Niskayuna is a big lacrosse program. Shenandoah, big lacrosse program. UAlbany, up and coming top 10 for the last decade. They're a big market. I mean, we're becoming quickly a big market for lacrosse, and I think that success and that momentum will carry over into the Albany NLL team.
Here's why I'm nervous. I hope you're right, but here's why I'm nervous. Okay. I grew up in Syracuse, as you can see the posters, right?
I couldn't tell.
So when I hosted in Syracuse, I used to get calls, and I knew this going into it, but it was very small times I did this. So the NBA would be going on, and people would legit call me and tell me, don't talk about the NBA. I'm like, guys, Syracuse is not playing for another 9 months because they were such college basketball fans in the area. Now the Syracuse Nationals then became the Philadelphia 76ers. Dolph Shea was a legendary player. They had NBA in the area. But the point I bring that up is think about it in another market, okay? Tuscaloosa loves football. Tuscaloosa packs Bryant-Denny Stadium with 80,000 people for a spring game. Would they ever get a pro football team? People are like, well, they like football. Of course. Well, no. They like Alabama. Auburn likes Auburn. Just because someone likes a sport doesn't always necessarily mean that their fan base is going to go from college to the other level. Now, look, you have unique markets like San Antonio, but San Antonio doesn't have a pro team. You might like the Cowboys, but you don't. It's not as simple as
they did have a pro team. They did have a pro team. Well, the CFL expanded there back in the mid-90s, but that's another story. They don't really talk. I kind of hush about that, by the way. I learned about that on Tuesday. They kind of hush about the UX expansion. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, but some markets work, like USC, UCLA, and the Lakers. That works. Indiana Hoosiers, Indiana Pacers. That works. But sometimes it just doesn't work. Pittsburgh is a really good example of this. Pittsburgh loves the Steelers and the Penguins.
Yep.
The Panthers at the college level, they don't get that attraction. Pittsburgh's not known as being a stacked hockey school. I don't even know if they have a hocky program, to be honest.
They might have a club program, but Penn State is the program in Pennsylvania.
Right, but you're the home of the Penguins, but you're see this. You kind of see the correlations where it doesn't always match back and forth. Yeah.
Yep. I see where you're going. Yeah, I see. I'm hoping I'm right. I would love to see.
Have me back on and rubbing my face. Grab the video, play it back.
Oh, I've got to have it saved. All right, so we're going to move on from Albany sports. But before I do that, let me go ahead and give a shout out to one of our partners here at Belly Up Sports, which is Invader Coffee. This episode of Around for the Weekend is brought to you by Invader Coffee. For the coffee lover who wants good, quality coffee with no BS and no filter and no filler. Invader Coffee is an ultra-premium, veteran-owned, thank you, company brought to you, proudly delivering only the best coffee your hard-earned money can buy. They aim only to serve the highest quality, organic, air-roasted coffee beans sourced from free trade farms all over the world. They keep things simple. The best coffee at an affordable price in order to provide you the value you deserve from your morning boost. 100% fair trade, 100% organic coffee beans, 100% air roasted, 100% money back guarantee. Visit invadercoffee.com, enter promo code BELLYUP at checkout, and get 15% off your order. For people who love saving money and coffee, get it. They're actually really excellent. I actually got a shipment today for their Bad Santa Holiday Blend, which is awesome. And I'm trying their Black Water blend as well. All right, so let's move on to some movies. I don't know if you noticed my whiteboard here, who I call Bordy Howe. That's one of my props, one of my character props. It's because this live show is quickly turning into Pee-wee's Playhouse. It's Bordy Howe. So I try to have a different saying or quote. Yesterday was the 44th anniversary of the release of Slapshot, the movie Slapshot. Iconic movie, especially if you're a hockey fan. I decided to put a really funny line from the movie by kind of censored out a particular word.
That's right.
Says, I'm trying
in Syracuse, by the way. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, Syracuse Bulldogs. The Ogie Oglethorpe. or as Danny Lemieux call him, Ogie Oglethorpe. But I decided to go with the line, I'm trying to listen to the song.
Right.
So I decided to show Goz what I call the best worst movie death scene ever. He has not watched this clip. I have, and I've wanted to break this down for so long. And this is actually the edited clip, but there's actually a longer clip of the entire thing. But let me go ahead and share. And we'll watch it together. We'll watch it for one. We'll watch it for the first time. Then we'll go ahead and break it down. So here it is. Sorry, I'm watching John's face. Wait for it.
What? What happened? I don't know whether to laugh or cry or control him or chase after the woman for that multiple gunshot effect.
So, I'll explain. I'm sorry. I'm just watching you. I watched your reaction.
I feel like you and I should watch it again and give our own play.
We're going to watch it again.
Yes, and you and I will give our commentary.
We'll do a breakdown.
Yes, let's.
We'll do a breakdown.
By the way, this still that's left on the screen is also very bizarre. What's that second one over? You got Bray Wyatt.
Every Firefly
left on.
I watch wrestling. I do watch wrestling clips. So Firefly, Funhouse, of course, Dudley Boys. I do watch Lyle Crowder. I'm a fan. Shout out to him. Rod Peterson. There's a clip from him. That is one of the. I think this is from Big Trouble in Little China, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if you ever watched that movie, Kurt Russell and Kim Cattrall. It's from a long time ago. It's probably before your time. Yeah. All right, so let's watch it again. We're going to do a breakdown. I'm going to pause it and just go through like every...
Yes.
All right, so let's play it again.
All right, so right out of the gates. So what's going on with the mustache?
Okay, so this is actually from a Turkish film. It's based on a Turkish film. Turkish cinema is like, it's weird, especially in the late 70s, early 80s. There's actually a movie called The Man Who Saved the World, but it's like footage of it's footage from Star Wars: A New Hope, mixed in with Raiders of the Lost Ark music. It's just it's out of this world. You gotta watch I'll send you the link when we're done.
Actually, don't send it to me.
No, but this particular video, like not this video, but some movie website did a breakdown of like how that came to be, like the movie. But I'll just keep playing. But yeah, the guy's mustache is just a little weird.
Okay,
but let me continue. Karate chop. Pulls out a gun.
Okay, now he's shot. Now let's pause it real quick. Yep. I see that he's shot from a gun. Now, look, your angle is different than my angle. I don't see where he's actually shot on his body yet.
I don't either. But wait for it. Let's see. Watch what happens.
Shot, but it's a very
look at it. Just watch his left hand. Watch his left hand.
Oh! He caught it too late.
Blood capsule.
No, I think it caught the bullet. We disagree. Okay, now pause it real quick.
Yeah.
Now, did I do that correctly? She had a shot that went through his hand in the same exact millimeter in the same spot he was just shot again?
No, I think that's a capsule of blood. Like, you know, I mean, you're a wrestling fan, guys. You know how they have the blood capsules in their mouth sometimes when they get punched or they do the razor. I mean, it's kind of like that. I mean, it's like early 70s, mid 70s Turkish film.
I disagree. I think this is real blood, but we'll agree to disagree.
But here's the thing. Like when she shoots him the second time, I don't know if you notice, it's just basically an edit of the first shot. So let me go rewind it.
Okay.
Very surprised. I think he's holding the capsule. He's holding the blood capsule, man. So that's shot one.
All right, now you think it's the same shot in shot two. Let's see. I studied movies at Hobart. We'll see if you're correct. Oh, wait a second.
Wait, let me rewind it.
Oh, there it is. No. There it is.
Wait for it.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So he goes to the table, smashes whatever that is. I don't know if it's a perfume bottle.
He has the gun in his hand. He's not.
Yeah, I'm surprised too. Like, why does he have a gun in his hand still? I was like,
no. Now, where did the bullet go where he actually was able to stand up and then make finger paints on the wall here?
I still think it's a blood capsule.
Is the calendar updated? You know, a lot of people don't update their calendars. Is that the month? It's just lazy if they didn't do that. Okay. Now here comes the finger painting on the unupdated calendar. Yeah. Now again, he's able to hold on to the gun. Whoa! Now I feel like unnecessary shots. You never shoot somebody in the back. This girl has no regard for his life, clearly from the start.
She's corrupt as hell. Mm-hmm. She's full on corrupt, as Pam Beasley Halpert would say.
That's right.
All right, he still has the gun in his hand. And now look at his face. Watch his face. It's like, oh my God, you shot me 3 times. Oh. What is wrong with you, woman? Then he shoots the gun.
No, hang on. Now that part confused me. Now he shot the ground, I see. He comes off the wall like those old spinny things at the fair with gravity. You know, I can stick to the wall and make sure.
Yeah.
Now he shoots
the gun on the ground, and then she shoots the gun again, which is, I think it's the same shot over and over and over again. Her shooting the gun at him.
Oh,
and then
he's going on the bed.
He died as he lived on a bed full of, I presume, it's pornography.
In his hand. Find that camera. on that camera.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Turkish cinema, my friend.
I don't want to watch the film.
I don't want to watch the film either.
I don't know if I want to watch any film ever again.
Is that a masterpiece, or is that you're just like, I'm done? I'm done with cinema.
I would say this: of all of the Turkish action movies with bad death scenes, that's the Hamilton of bad death scenes in Turkish films that I've ever watched. It's the Hamilton level.
No. There's even better out there.
Is there?
Friend. Oh my gosh.
You have another clip?
We'll explore that next. We'll explore that next time we're on around for the weekend.
I just changed my number.
New phone? Who dis?
What is that in Turkish?
New phone? Who dis? In Turkish? I can look at Google Translate. All right, so I think it's going to do it this week for Around for the Weekend. Guys, tell the people where they can find you, where they can find your podcast. You have a good minute or several minutes to plug. Go right ahead.
Apple, Spotify, search Getting There with Goz, all different words. We've got a bunch of episodes. We've got about 17 episodes already up in the last month. So a lot of cool stuff, evergreen content. That means you can listen whenever you want, whether it's today, whether it's Sunday. Go back and listen. Getting There with Goz, Apple, Spotify, Instagram. Please like and follow. Building the Instagram. I'm on Twitter at TomGoz, TomGozz. Instagram, Facebook. I'm on there. It's my personal account. I don't mind. I'm getting back to Facebook. Tom Goslowski. Search me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Apple, Spotify. I got all the plugs in.
Awesome. All right, Gozzy Bear. Thanks for joining me on this week's edition of Around for the Weekend. Appreciate the talk about Albany. Talk about appreciate the laugh with the Turkish cinema. Your first foray to Turkish cinema. But in the meantime, folks, I'm gonna wrap things up here. So thanks again for watching Around for the Weekend. Again, connect. Look at the scroll at the bottom here. Connect on Facebook, facebook.com/BellyUpSports AFTW. Twitter, AFTW. YouTube, Around for the Weekend. Thanks again for joining me, folks. Appreciate you. If you're watching, and if you're watching on replay too, we really appreciate you sticking around. So thanks a lot, folks. We'll see you next week.